What's up, everybody?
We're in.
We are. I'm still trying to get this link, but I'm gonna let Johnell do that. Hey, welcome to the Mike and Tom Show. We're here with you with Johnell Ward, being sandwiched between Mike and Tom. We got a Johnell sandwich.
No
Diddy.
Go off script, Mike.
And we got Pierre Wilson with Blexit here with us. Glad to have anybody
Good to be here.
Yeah, always.
Be here with you, man.
Yeah,
good to be here with you guys.
Yeah. So we got to bring in our sponsor real quick.
Bring in
Covenant Coffee, Covenant Ministries, Randy Martin over there, and he does a great job with the emancipated foster youth and foster youth in general. I know, aren't you pretty close with him as well, Johnell?
I'm getting to know.
Yeah.
I know a lot of youth that
you guys do a lot of stuff, kind of crossing over with each other. But anyway, Randy does an awesome job, and he's got great coffee. So y'all over there on Northchester, go check it out. Otherwise, covenantcoffee.org, and he'll hook you up.
Yeah, you can order online and help the kids in town. That's what we're going to be talking about too.
So I got a question for you, Tom. Does Pierre remind you of somebody?
Jared.
Oh,
he reminds me of Jared.
You say Jared?
they dress up.
Don't tell Jared that. We have a running thing that we're the other person. So I go around, I tell people I'm Jared. He tells people he's Pierre. So.
well, Pierre, who do you think primed us for this?
It had to be Jared then. Okay.
So
I should have known.
Yeah, he did. So, hey, it's so good to have you here. We're really excited about being connected with you. We've seen each other at a couple of events, Pastor Summit, then at the TP AmeriFest, and you do good work out there. So give you a shout out, and you and Blexit and the whole family over there. So, Mike, you don't mess around. So get attention.
I'm doing what you told me to do.
Yeah. So Pierre, so you're in Florida. We have a little time distance. Thank you for joining in with us. But you've got the gear. You got the podcast gear. So I'm going to ask you a favor. Is that okay? I need you to talk. I need you to talk to Boomer Bennett about your gear, because for some reason, did Boomer figure it out?
Well, no, I figured it out just now. That's where you heard the text message go.
No. I'm talking.
He's on a whole nother task.
I'm talking to him about he's got professional gear, Mike.
He does.
And he
does Boomer not have the?
Oh my gosh!
Boomer doesn't have the gear.
No, I think he told me when I talked to him that he purchased some
Well,
stuff.
we were on a Zoom show. He held the box up and he goes, "I don't know what this is, Mike." But he told me about it. But we got a live.
I'm gonna have to get on Boomer. Boomer's too savvy to not know this stuff. He has to know these things.
He's a boy.
We have a live podcast with him, and the sound just wasn't working out. So we just said, Boomer, we gotta work on your end. Mike actually sent a text down there.
Yeah, we did. Up to Sacramento. That's 4.5 hours away. And he still didn't.
I'm gonna have to give Boomer a hard time now because you guys have told me that.
Definitely give him a hard time, Pierre.
Yes,
I'm giving him a hard time. Love Boomer. He's a great guy, though.
Oh, we do too. Give us a little update. So we know where Pierre Wilson is now. You're with Blexit. You're at the conferences. But give us a little background how you got to where you are, because there's always a story. And give us that little story that just brings us up to date where you are, and then we're going to pull on a few strings.
Yes.
Yeah, well, and I'll try to give you guys a little bit of the shorter version, but I'll tell you what, I was like so many people in Blexit. You'll find these stories are all throughout Blexit, but I was a hardcore leftist at one point, or at least I was advocating for things that I found out later I didn't even actually truly believe in. I was out there doing the BLM parades and, you name it. If it was anything attached to a victimhood mentality, I was probably supporting it, and it was, when I look back on it, I realized that so many of those values that the left stood for didn't actually apply to what I actually thought. I think I was emotionally, I'm man enough today to be able to say that I was probably emotionally manipulated by the left, just like so many people in minority America are. I was acting off of emotions and not really looking for real, facts behind what I was supporting. But kind of going through, that part of my story really quickly, what kind of started to wake me up was there was 3 distinct moments that I look at throughout my life. There was one moment that happened back in school, and a teacher had said at the time the election was between Al Gore and W. Bush, and we weren't old enough to vote yet. And my teacher at the time had told us to go home. She said, write a paper. I want you guys to, do research on both candidates, write a paper on who you would support if you were able to vote. At that point, I wasn't really into politics because I was into it, but I truly wasn't into it like I am today. I didn't care as much as I do today. Obviously, I was younger. I was worried about other things at the time. But I really did take that paper seriously. And I remember going home, I didn't worry about labels or anything, Republican, Democrat, none of that. I just literally looked at both candidates, and I liked Bush better. I was like, man, he seems to be like the candidate I would support. And I wrote the paper on him. And I remember showing my mother that paper, and my mom, man, like halfway down, she started to get a feel what that paper was for, or who I would vote for. And I remember her just stopping dead in her tracks and looking up at me, and she said, we don't vote for Republicans in this family. Don't you know that Republicans don't care about Black people? Don't you know that they don't support us? We don't vote for them. At the time, I looked at it like, man, my mom, that's mom. She's always right. I'm going to go with what she says. Something felt weird, but I listened to her because that's mom. And I went back and I rewrote the paper, got a good grade on it, moved forward. There was a second moment. I was in college, and I went to a historically Black college and university for about 3 years before finishing school elsewhere. But during those 3 years I was there, the election at the time, this was the primary season, and there was Obama and Hillary going at it during the primary season. And for those who don't know, a lot of people in Black America, used to be a joke, but in Black culture, like the actual race, the presidential race, is the primary of the Democratic Party, because the Republicans were just not considered. So whoever won the primary was who you're going to vote for. So the real race for a lot of Black people was Obama versus Hillary. And everybody got the mic before me. It was like we were in a forum, and they were like, oh, tell us who you're voting for and why. And again, historically Black college, everybody in there is pretty much Black, and everyone's getting the mic, and they're like, Obama. And I remember getting the mic, and I said, I don't know yet, because I don't know much about Obama. And, I'm not the biggest fan of Hillary Clinton, but at the same time, I know a little bit more about her. So I'm really trying to, learn both candidates. I don't really know who I'm going to pick yet. And you would have thought that, like, I had said I was going to kill someone's cat or something. Like, I mean, the entire room got silent. People in front of me turned around looking at me like I had just said the most god awful thing. And, I passed the mic to the person behind me, and the young lady immediately said, she didn't even answer the question first. She looked at me and she said, how can you as a Black man say that you don't know who you're voting for? And I'm staring at her, and she's staring at me, and I'm thinking she's going to finish this thought. But that was it. It was that he was Black, I was Black. That was enough. And I thought that was really odd. I said, man, what if a white person walked in here and said, well, I'm going to vote for Hillary because she's white? Like, how would we feel about that? So something didn't sit right with me with that either. And then, fast forward, I went on and I voted for Obama twice. But the third and defining moment that kind of led me to where I'm at today was actually Candace Owens. I was actually up really late. No idea what I was doing up late. I think I was searching how tall is Jesus or something. I don't know. But I came across a video of Candace Owens, and this was her early days. This was before she was Candace Owens. She was like Red Pill Black and all that on YouTube. And, I remember watching this video, and she was, speaking into a megaphone, and she's like talking about the single motherhood rate in Black America. She's talking about the divorce rate, the welfare system, Black on Black crime, all these different things in a way that I hadn't heard it before. And I remember thinking, man, she has to be lying, so I'm like writing these things down, and I'm like, I'm going to fact check her. And I went and I looked up everything that she was saying, did my research. Man, trust me, I was trying to prove her wrong. She was right about everything that she was saying. She was right. And I remember feeling really confused. Like, I felt lied to. I felt like I didn't have the full story my entire life. I felt a lot of different emotions, and I kind of joke about it now, but at the time it wasn't really a joking matter. I felt kind of lost too. I was like, who do I talk to? I can't call my mom, can't call my dad, can't call my friends, or who do I even begin to, talk to? And I remember just praying. I literally got on my knee and I was like, Lord, like, I don't know why I came across this. Like, I don't know where this is going. I just need you. And then just wrap this up. 3 months later, it took me about 3 months. I talked to my mom and my dad first. Dad went better than my mom. But 3 months later, I made my first Facebook status, which is a big deal, when you're talking about your conservative values. And I remember putting up a post and I got attacked so bad. People were like, "Oh, you must be paid by the white man somewhere or something." Like I just got attacked, and the people who were coming after me were also people who I've known, through my entire life. And some of these people, I was like, man, if I've been there for you, I've been there for some of these people, and they're so quick to attack me off of my beliefs. That is enough for some people to be quiet and say, you know what, I'm not ready for this life. I'm going to be quiet. It did the opposite for me, and I thank God for that. I was like, I'm going to speak up more, because if people are willing to attack you so quickly, people that you've known, family, friends, over me just simply speaking the fact that I believe, about my conservative values, that means that there is some brainwashing or something going on in our community, and I'm going to help break this. I'm going to help break this up and release the rest of these chains. So, here I am today. Candace and Brandon Tatum had just started Blexit. They were just doing, I think they did one show at the time. And I remember asking Brandon, I didn't know him well. I commented under one of his posts, and I said, "Hey, are you guys just going to do shows?" And he said, "Yeah, we're going to do some shows around the country." And I was like, "Man, this needs to be brought to the grassroots level, though. This movement, I just saw so much potential in it. I was like, this needs to be brought around the country, door to door." So I didn't get any permission. Thank God she didn't sue me, but I created a Blexit North Carolina chapter, and we started door knocking, me and a couple of friends who were supporting me at the time. And we were door knocking. We were showing up at every meeting. I remember we literally spoke at an Applebee's doing karaoke night, and we got kicked off. But we were anywhere we could share the message, we were sharing it. Candace got wind of our Instagram page that we had built showing our work. She DM'd me. I need to frame that DM, I guess. But she DM'd me. She was like, "Hey, let's get on a call." We get on a call, and here I am today. She hired me. I was the first hire of Blexit. We now have 47 chapters across the country. We're in churches. We're on HBCU campuses. God is good. He is good.
I love that. I love that. Well, everybody on our show and everybody out in our audience knows that I started out as a Democrat. And of course, my dad he was a Teamster, and I voted for Jimmy Carter. And I just saw Jimmy Carter, who was a great person and great farmer, but lousy president. And so I started questioning it with my dad. And my dad goes, "Tom, I think we're voting for the wrong people." And we're like you, we did our homework. We're like, I think all the Democrats jumped to the other side. And it wasn't that the Democratic Party left us, and so the Republicans became more like we thought. So I started that, and so Mike already gives me a hard time about that. So, but we have Johnell Ward here, and we brought him in here because what do you think about that, Johnell?
Oh man, because no, he's right about the brainwashing and things. Because I'm from the neighborhood, I'm biracial. I grew up black, though. You know what I mean? And the lies I lived out was that the government didn't care about us at all, neither side, on values or anything like that. And
well, that's probably closer to the truth than
well, you could say that, but it was also it's a book that I was given to me when I was in juvenile hall at a certain point in time in my life.
Johnell doesn't like to talk about that. Pierre was on our thread. I go, "Come on, Johnell. Let's go back and write the resume again."
Yeah. Well, I out of where God's taking you from.
No, yeah, God took me. I tell people nowadays, I get in front of our people all the time and tell them I'm an expert at bad decisions. So my experience can tell you where I'm trying to lead you to. I lean more now, or not lean more now. I've been conservative and just didn't know what conservative was in the political sense. Seeing men like Pierre and just standing up and doing things.
And Boomer Bennett, you were on Boomer show.
Oh yeah, me and Boomer, we relate to on a whole nother level. You know what I mean? But being told to, and like neither party cares about us, and that in this book called Plantation Psychosis, man, that how we got to free ourselves and things of that nature. But to free ourselves, man, we really got to know ourselves. We don't know ourselves because, I'm around youth all the time. There's no strong figures in their lives, strong male figures in their lives.
Yes.
I tell a lot of our young men, I have a lot in college right now, doing amazing things. One about to go to the league, playing at different levels of collegiate athletes. But I tell them, first off, you got to pray on what degree you're going after. And when they're wrong, I'll let them know. I had one boy didn't want to talk to me because well, you sleeping around. Like, what you can't be a believer, and you know. But being a strong figure and telling them, like, I don't replace what you think you're missing. At best, I'm gonna be a crazy uncle. We're gonna push you, push me, you know.
Well, Johnell has a ministry called Kicks for Kids,
yes,
where he believes that kids make a shoe identity before they make a personal identity. And so we've actually seen that work.
Yes.
I convinced my wife to take him up on that in a school that she oversees, and she did, and she saw the magic. She really did. She really did.
Yeah.
So you have 47 chapters. Is that what you have? 47 chapters out there?
Yeah, we're in 46 states plus DC. So we'll have 51 chapters when we're finished, and we'll have every state by the end of this year. We're missing.
Where are you missing right now?
We're missing both Dakotas. We're missing West Virginia, and I want to say we're missing Hawaii. So yeah, 4.
Well, you'll get those. We want to thank Roxana Gorman and Renata Del Silva.
De Silva? Yeah. Can we bring up those comments? Can you bring those up on the screen?
They like the boomer. I mean,
love those 2 people. Yeah.
They're on it. Yeah, we want to give a shout out always to our guests. We want to thank you for watching us, like us. And this guy right here, this guy sitting right here next to me is one of our talent here at 511 Media, and we've been really excited about the stuff that he's doing. So Pierre, tell us how we can help you. I mean, so here we are, group, you know, and we want to be able to come in and help you, but we know. I mean, I always tell Johnell, how many times did I tell you I'm the old white guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I go right down from where you were.
Wait, you're white? I didn't have any idea. I didn't know. You're white?
and so, you know, as I told Johnell, I go, we just got to get involved in this. I was telling Boomer and Jared and all the guys, Chip.
Yeah.
Like, so how do groups like us or our audience get involved with Blexit? I love Candace's boldness, because she is bold, and she reached out to you and said, I got to bring this guy on my team. I can see why that would happen.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That's why we got this guy.
Yeah, like, I'm curious on how we can get involved and help and bring what we have into what you have, from our youth, from schools to our ministries that we're involved with, like, because there is a disconnect with our youth to real strong male leadership.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you what, we've put a lot of emphasis on our youth too. We like people say, oh, there's an age limit to is there an age limit to what you guys do? And the first answer from all of us is no. We will help it. We help anyone, because the youth, you have to kind of get to them early in many ways. It's actually a little bit easier if you can start to get to them a bit earlier and help them out, because the left is getting to them early, right? So, you know, at that point, we do need to be in there. And one of the things I want to say really quickly that I really like about Legs, and I can go into like how we can work together and get involved, but we never force anyone to do anything. We're never telling people, hey, you know, if you join Blexit, you need to be, you know, Republican or something, right? No, we're never doing anything like that. We truly believe we educate people, right? We give you the full story. We want to make sure that you're not fed a narrative. And when people try to like shut us down or cancel, like the leftists come after us, I ask people who we're talking to, I'm like, we're not shutting them down. We're not silencing them. So what is that telling you? We're telling you, hey, we want you to have all the facts so you can make an informed decision. Why is that controversial? You know, we're telling you to make the decision. We're not telling you what to do, but yet they don't want us to tell you that, right? So who's really the problem here? But as far as like Blexit, yeah, we do a lot with our youth too. So I mentioned earlier too, we have chapters that do a lot of mentorship programs in schools. Our North Carolina chapter is done, our California chapter, our Florida chapter. We do a lot of after school stuff too as well. At one point, we actually did have an after school program. Although we don't have that actual program anymore, we're still partnering with a lot of churches and a lot of other organizations are doing the same thing to help give kids a place to go. And especially, you know, you think about sometimes when kids get in trouble, right? Some of them get in trouble after school and in between that time of parents coming home or something along those lines. And so we want a place where they can go and they can hear the word of God, right? They can also learn American history the right way, right? Not be fed of narrative. We also do just a lot of community work. We are a big believer in like something as simple as a community cleanup. you feel better if you can walk outside and not see trash and graffiti and everything all over your streets. That has an impact, believe it or not, right? So we want to make sure that people are in communities that are clean. We advocate a lot for school choices. Why would we want our children to go to schools with teachers who are not equipped and the schools are horrible? We should be. I think school choice should not be a partisan issue. Actually, I don't understand why it is. We should be all advocating for school choice. So we advocate for that a lot, and some of that is educating the parents, right? Because some of them just have no idea about school choice, so we educate them. We also do a lot of different courses. So we just released a Marriage Matter course with Topher. I don't know if you guys know who Topher is.
We have a show called Marriage Matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great course. It's on Blexit.com under Blexit Education. Great course. Just came out last week. Topher and his wife did it. We want to talk about the importance of marriage. Everything you see today is like tearing marriage apart, right? And we believe that that you're better off in a strong family unit. We believe that we have people who are divorced in Blexit, who are single in Blexit, who will tell you this. They would say it's better for a child to be in a home with a mom and a dad, So we want to speak about these things loud and proud, and entrepreneurship, criminal justice reform, and I'll mention criminal justice reform, but we talk about the reform starting with the family. We all know stats show that if you don't have a father in the home, right, you're more likely to go end up in prison. So our reform starts early, not after. So these are the things that Blexit, amongst many things that we're working on. We have an incredible team. I see a comment, I think, from Valerie. She's an incredible leader too for us. We have an incredible team who's passionate, who gives their all. I mean, these individuals, they jump off of work sometimes. They're volunteers. They jump off of work. They have kids and stuff, and they're making time in their day to change their communities. Like, I'm inspired by them. So Blexit, to me, maybe I'm biased, is without a doubt the leading minority movement right now when it comes to making actual real change.
The research I've done looking into your organization has gave me some ideas because with taking a young man who looked like us away from that victim mentality, because I get hit with it constantly and certain things that I told him. So I tell him basically my dialogue is a little bit different depending on where we're at. If we're in the locker room, it's a little bit more raw,
Barbershop, got to be a little more raw.
Safe places, but I tell them if your narrative is true, why does it matter to your success? Like I don't care if Bob down the street doesn't like me because of my skin color or the way I talk or whatever I dress. It's not going to my position, my responsibility to the cross is that I need to uphold what Jesus did. Right. And spread the gospel, show their love, show self-control, and that's one of the hardest things to teach us young men, right? Especially without the fathers. We create characters and narratives in our heads, in our communities on how we're supposed to protect. And it does contribute to the crime rate. I just was with a school district, Ventura, and we were and in Lindsay, right? But both cities are seeing a decrease in murder rate. But I said, look at your addiction rate. You don't have a gang problem, you have a drug problem. They'll keep on saying it's a gang problem. Say, no, your gangbangers aren't gangbangers no more. They're drug addicts, 4th, 5th generation drug addicts. We got to attack what's really coming into the city. You have petty theft, grand theft, things like that. That's all contribute to addiction, not gang violence. Gangs truly are, I want to make it a thing of the past, but as the old school gangs are really dead when it comes to the violence.
I was proud of this guy, Pierre, because when we had him on a show one time, the district attorney came to be on our show right after it. And you tell me, he will correct me if I'm not telling the truth. And so he got up and walked out, and the district attorney said, Zimmer, you do a great job out there. And they met, and she goes, I know you. And he said, well, I want to thank you for putting me in prison. And she looked at him and she goes, really? He goes, yeah. And she looked at him, she goes, so if you're on this show, that means, and she stopped a minute, she goes, I'm just praising Jesus right now. Because what we couldn't do, Jesus did. And she looked at me afterwards, she goes, you know how much money this guy costs the city? No. And she goes, but it doesn't matter anymore because the good that he's doing in the community. And that's what I love about it. Mike, I just was thinking, I don't follow racial lines. Pierre, I was the corporate board secretary for the Latino Coalition.
Yeah.
And I was, it was an international coalition, and the president, Richard Ramos, who was there, he used to always have to explain why I was on the board. I was like, hey, I spent 8 years on there, and so
Pierre, you got some events coming up, right? You got a big one you're speaking at Black Conservative Summit.
We do, and I actually want to say something really quick too to your comment as well. I love that though, because Blexit always talks about that too. Obviously, our mission is minority center, but we ultimately are coming together as Americans. This isn't like, Black people only. You'll see if you come to one of our events, which I'll share here in a second too, you'll see people from different backgrounds. And that's why I love working with the faith team or TPSA so much too. And we're coming because this is ultimately a kingdom mission, so, and we're all child of the king, children of the king. So that's what matters more than anything. But yes, we do have the Black Conservative Summit coming up. That's in May, and my team is going to kill me. I think it's like May 2nd. It's at May 2nd, I think, to the 5th. But it's on Blexit's website, so just go to blexit.com and hit events, and you'll see it there. But super excited! I'll be speaking there alongside some incredible speakers. We also have a night of faith. Okay.
Yeah, how that.
There's a great lineup of speakers for the Black Conservative conference.
It's going to be impactful. Going to be powerful. Going to be powerful. And we're doing our night of faith. We just came off a really great night of faith in Asheville, North Carolina. We do those in churches. So we work with minority. They told us, they said, "Oh, no way Blexit will ever get into Black churches." Here we are, So just more proof. Just more proof that don't let anyone. No more. If someone tells me that we can't do something, I'm like, okay, now we got to do it. As long as it fits within our mission, we got to do it now.
I love what Valerie said there too. We bring that up real quick, and I think this goes to what you're saying too. Candace says everything that impacts America is now impacting all Americans.
You brought up something earlier.
Well, let me say this real quick about you. One time, Johnell came to me, and Johnell, real quick, he came to me with a vision about giving kids shoes. Now, he's not giving kids any shoe. He's giving them a top of the line $300, $400 sneakers.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I go, dude, this vision's bigger than you.
Yeah.
Didn't I not tell you that?
Yeah.
And he goes, what are we going to do? I go, I don't know, but we're just going to get together.
We're just going to keep going.
and when he puts these shoes on these kids and he gets people to join in with him, you see these kids just turn around. Somebody just cared about me enough and believed in me enough to do that. And I love what you're saying out there. You don't care who comes as long as they're going to make a difference. I love what Candace says. It's all of our problems.
It is.
All of us. It is all of us. And sometimes you have to meet people where they are. So we do understand when we're talking to some individuals, like one thing we do is we try to spend more time with people who disagree with us than people who agree. So when we're talking to these individuals, a lot of them do see color. That's just the honest truth. A lot of them at the beginning, it's Black this, Black that, Black this, Black. That's almost like their identity. But the goal is, I like to say, when they join Blexit and they get into Blexit, by the time they've been with Blexit for a while, that has now changed. It's not that they're not proud to be Black. I think every person's like, I'm proud of the way God made me. However, that's not what defines them, right? Christ defines them, their values, those things, and that's what matters. So we have to reach people though where they are. We do understand that. And I think that's what made Blexit unique. We have not pretended that we don't get where they're at. I was there. I shared that earlier. I was right there. BLM, riots and everything else. I was right there. I was that person, and I'm never too far away to forget the space that they're in. And another thing I always share is that these people are a lot of Black Americans are hearing the same thing no matter where they turn. They're in an echo chamber, so we can't expect them to sometimes immediately just see the light. It takes sometimes planting the seed. If your mom is this way, your dad is this way, your cousins, your best friend, you go to school, your teacher's talking like this, you turn on the TV, LeBron James is talking like this. Everybody is saying the same thing. You think that you're right? And you don't even realize that you're kind of being emotionally manipulated. So sometimes we have to learn, if I can tell conservatives anything, learn to plant seeds, because I've had so many people who wrote me 2 weeks, 2 months later, I've been thinking about what you said to me a while back, Pierre, and they want to have a deeper conversation now. And I didn't force them right away. And I think we have to get better at that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got.
So Johnell was on a thought front.
I'm sorry. You running back.
It goes with what he's just saying, because in our communities, even past that, I think Pierre is talking to a Black community that that's somewhat involved in some form of fashion, but there's a community that looks at it like hands up, like I don't want nothing to do with it because it doesn't benefit me at all. And that's where I'm seeing it at, right? That's where I'm over to tussling and wrestling with these guys, like to realize, like, okay, if we really want to see change in our neighborhoods, it's gonna start with us. I don't care what they say over there. I don't care what they say in the city halls, because I ask Pastor Tom this all the time. All of a sudden I got these not little, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I got politicians showing up to these events and just trying to like talk and take pictures and
they're there for a photo op.
And I tell them no. I tell them no right out the gate. I'm like, no, because I don't even know you. I don't know you. Really know you.
Pierre, I took Johnell to an event. Remember the City Hall event?
Oh yeah.
And we were taking a bathroom break, so we were walking up the thing, and he ran into his old PO.
Yeah.
And
my last one.
and I looked at the guy, and he goes, "Hey, Tom, I like what you said." And he goes, "Johnell?" He goes, "Yeah." He's like what you said. So Johnell went, and he goes, "So this guy's saved?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Are you sure?" I go, I was like, well, yeah, I can vouch for this guy. You know, I'm bringing him here. He's speaking into the people's lives. And it was so funny. Remember when you came back, we were still talking, and he just was, it's almost like they don't give people a chance to change.
No. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think when he goes to events and people see him, they want to say, I want a photo op moment, you know, maybe to put him up against his mugshot, but that guy's dead and gone, right? It's like, this is a whole new life. And that's where I want to center on. I would say, hey, this is a Johnell Ward that's a new version. Christ invaded his life, and he is now out there, you know, I'm not going to say on any side. He's just out there trying to make it better for young kids that were stuck where you were.
Because right now, the conversations I'm having, because it is a political year, and I got we got quite a few college kids around us. Any given night, it's about like 30 to 40 of them, right? And they're like, it's not Democrat or Republican, it's Republican and independent right now, right? And it was like, should Black go independent? I'm like, well, do your research. I don't know. How does it align?
What are your values? What are your
values? And just match it up, right? Because I don't want to be the great manipulator either. It's like, no, research and how do you align? Right.
Yeah, I'm actually whenever I talk, because Blexit, it's like a little bit of a line because we're 501c3 with Turning Point, but when I'm in my like full blown political side of things, I always tell people it's not so much the party, because the Republican Party could wake up today or tomorrow and change. It could be completely different. What are your values? What are your core values? Who are you? And you should vote accordingly. You should vote for the side that you feel like represents those values the best. Because party and values for me have always been different. Because some people say, well, when did you become a conservative? And I'll respond back and say, well, I've always been a conservative. I just didn't know it. I just now started Republican. There's a difference between the two. There's a difference between the two.
Yeah,
so can we talk a little bit about the Believer Summit coming up too?
Absolutely, Mike. Well, that's, hey, you got to pay the bills.
So you're picking up Believer Summit, right? Coming up, and that's what, in June. So tell us a little bit about that and what your part is in that too.
Super excited about Believer Summit. TPSA Faith, Jared, Matt, the entire team is doing an incredible job, working really hard to put this together. Blexit will be a big part of that as well. We're actually going to have a panel on stage, which is going to be very interesting. We're going to have some Blexit people, some Blexit peeps, having a sit-down conversation with some Black Lives Matter peeps on the main stage. So it's going to be very, very interesting, moderated by yours truly right here. So super excited about that. We're going to get into how, you know, the stances, the values align with the Bible, right? So we're going to really get into the weeds of that. We're also going to have a breakout room there as well, kind of still putting that together. So don't have a ton of information, but just look out for a Blexit breakout room. And then obviously Faith will have a ton of different breakout rooms that you guys will be able to choose from. And then Blexit is going to actually host a kind of a Blexit experience on Saturday night. And we are going to surprise you guys with some. It's going to be a good time, but it's also going to be an educational experience, but fun. We don't believe that education means boring, right? We're going to educate people, but we're going to also have a good time in that room and give people a chance to really learn more about Blexit. But the Believer Summit as a whole, we're going to have thousands of Christ followers coming out there, people who are looking to hear more, just really be inspired, encouraged. We have their cup filled. I'm looking for it's the biggest thing I believe Faith has ever done. So this is going to be huge. It's going to be huge, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you know what, Mike? I'm sitting here thinking this. I'm doing some from 511 Media thinking because my daughter is expecting, and I won't. You know, I'm going to be moving. I'm going to be. I'll be living in Tennessee. You know about that, Pierre. Then, but I may not be able to go when she has a baby. You should take Johnell my place.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, you should do that. I mean, and then
where is it?
It's in Florida.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can go.
Come hang out, Johnell.
Yeah,
I didn't know where you guys were. Talking about
West Palm Beach.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is, I mean, we want to be there to support you, and that's what I wanted Johnell on the show tonight and say, hey, you know, this is it. So go back to how we can get involved. How Johnell Ward and Steve Southers, because we have another one of our. Now this is on a fitness show.
Well, no, Tom, it's not just that. 511 support as well.
Yeah, I know that, Mike, but I'm saying we can get boots on the ground through these guys.
Yeah. Well, the best way for boots on the ground is obviously to get involved with your local chapter. So if you actually go to Blexit.com and you click join the movement, I think it's join the movement. You can just join or get involved, right? So I'm close. Just hit get involved, and then you'll hit join a chapter, and then it'll bring up all the chapters. You just click your state. You'll see who your state director is, but it'll also link you to the form where you can just sign up and become what we call a grassroots warrior, because we believe people who are out there on the ground are warriors. They have their warrior spirit. So that's the best way to get involved with your chapter, is just to sign up as a grassroots warrior. And then there's also an option if you want to be a leader. A grassroots warrior is someone who just wants to kind of participate here and there, right? Help out their chapter. But a leader is someone who wants to take, or who feels called to take a greater responsibility with that chapter, and help organize meetings, help organize the events and things of that nature. So whatever God is calling you to do, it's the same form, and you can hit yes or no to leadership on that form. For people who just want to support Blexit, or at least just hear about what we have going on, take out courses, things of that nature, also on Blexit.com, there's an option on the main page for you just to sign up for our newsletter. You know, we do send newsletters out every month, and it keeps you up to date on what we have going on, which is a lot. Sometimes I think we're cutting things out of the newsletter because we're like, no one's going to read, it's too long. But we have so much going on. You can also attend an event leading into the People's Conference. There's a People's Conference that Turning Point Action is doing in June. We are going to be doing a liberation show, a Blexit liberation show, that Thursday before the People's Conference. I can get over those dates to you, Mike, so you can give it to your audience. But we are super excited about that. It'll be a full-blown Blexit event. Probably Candace Owens will be speaking. Brandon typically speaks at that. We get Larry Elder, different people out there for that. So that'll be exciting for people who want to also check out Blexit for the first time. And yeah, I mean, we're always open to work with other groups as well.
Then let me throw something out there. Our local producer, can we mute Mike's microphone? So Pierre, you need a podcast, dude. So what if we did one for you? What if we did it in this style? And Mike must be agreeing because he almost spit his water up. Are you agreeing with me here?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to do that. Just host it for you in this format on our and launch it for you. I mean, there again, all you do is sit right there, and we could do this for you each week with amazing guests, your team. So our collaboration. I'm like, we should do that. So
listen, I am all for it. You know, I had a podcast at one point. I didn't, you know, with everything I had with Blexit, it was really tough for me to produce it. So if you guys are offering that part, thank God, because
we
helping me out with some of the.
You just jumped in, Pierre. So I'm sitting here thinking.
I love what y'all are doing.
Yeah,
and there's an area. This is an area that
this is our wheelhouse.
You, Johnell, have more influence in than I can ever have. But if I can reach that same group in a different way through support.
Well, Johnell, can I drag you into this one?
Yeah, you can.
So you could be our end of this,
Yeah.
and hold down the fort.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever said no to me. Have I ever said no? Have I ever said no to you?
Who can say no to you? No one can say no to you.
People's arms
I've never said
Oh,
no.
not even that. This man has poured so much into me, right? And never.
Well,
you
hey,
know?
we're just brothers from another mother. That's all.
it.
That's it. I love vision, Pierre, and that's one thing I saw in this young man. I don't care what his past was. That's what I saw in Boomer too. I'm just like, hey, let's go in, because Boomer, we're doing a show for Boomer. I don't think he's ever picked a title for his show, has he? Boomer Go. He wanted to go with Boomer Go.
Boomer's kind of a title in itself, but yeah.
It is, because he goes out there. He goes out there and just
let's go Boomer or something like that.
Yes.
Right. I'm like,
play on Boomer, like Tom's a Boomer, but Boomer's also a different kind of Boomer.
Pierre, you
redefine Boomer.
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to keep us to our time frame because Pierre is later than us. Pierre, you take the next few moments, wrap it up, tell people what's on your heart,
whatever you want to promote or whatever.
Yeah.
Feel free to do that.
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to say thank you all for having me on. I'm having a good time, so I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm enjoying this, and no, more than anything, I just want people to get involved and get active. You know, whether it's Blexit, whether it's somewhere else. Obviously, I would love if it's Blexit, but it's not enough to just tweet. It's not enough to just be on Instagram. It's not enough to even just share a post. We need people out there actually getting involved. I think there's a common misconception that everyone's like, oh, they have it. You know, the people I'm seeing, they have it. And we need you. We need you to join and get involved and stand for something. You know, we would be better off for it. So I want people to get off the sidelines. And then Blexit, as far as Blexit goes, just please check us out. Visit us. Something on there, I believe, will inspire you, whether it's our marriage course that we released last week, Marriage Matters with Topher and his wife, whether it's getting involved with the grassroots, whether it's coming to our liberation show. You can, again, find our events, you can find our courses, you can find all of that on Blexit.com. But if you are called to come our way, please answer that call, because we could use you. And keep God first. More than anything, I think I tell people all the time, you know, none of this would be possible without him. I went through plenty. I like what you said earlier, John. I like, tell your story, because I'm not ashamed of my story. I'm not ashamed that I made bad decisions back in the day anymore. I used to, at one point, I would never want to talk about them. Now I talk about them openly, because I think that people need to know that you can come from a rough place. You can be at your lowest of low. You can think that there's nothing out there for you, and you can come back and, you know, to God's glory, be doing something as incredible as I get to wake up and do every day. So, you know, never, ever be ashamed to tell that story. For someone, if anyone's listening and they're in that place now, look at John, look at me, look at John, look at all of us. Look at so many different Blexit peeps that are part of our group. You can get there, but you have to keep God first. He is still a God of miracles. He is still the God, the King of Kings. So keep him first. He'll take care of you.
That's what our show's about. 1 Thessalonians 5:11. We know the good work that you're doing and you continue to do, and we want to magnify the voices. Yeah. And this is a voice we need to magnify. That's Revelation says that we come to know Christ through his blood and the message of our testimony, you know, and so that means our testimony is powerful. Doesn't matter what it is. It means it's powerful.
I want to say one last thing here, and I'm fired up because this is a cause I believe in.
Yes.
And we don't just get behind and put resources behind just anybody. We only get behind people that we believe in and causes we believe in. So, Pierre, we love what you guys are doing.
Yes, love it. Absolutely.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Anything on your mind?
Man, no, it was great to finally talk to you, man, and looking forward to some conversations without a camera in my face. You know?
Behind the scenes, barbershop talk.
I love it. Well, Pierre, thank you so much. Thank you for Blexit, TP USA, Candace Owens, and the whole crew. Thank you for everybody who chimed in.
Yeah, thank
what
you
an
for
awesome
watching.
thing. Like us. And we're going to be talking, and I think we'll talk a little bit after we get off there. But God bless.
Y'all have a great day.
Bye-bye.